Welcome, Pewter Report readers, viewers, and listeners to a brand new edition of the Pewter Report podcast, energized by Celsius, the official energy drink of pewterreport.com. Hope everybody had a great weekend. We are back in the saddle for another week of Pewter Report podcast, starting out with being back at the facility for week 2 of Bucs OTAs. We will give our analysis of everything that we saw from practice, plus a couple press conferences that went on with Antoine Winfield Jr. and Kyle Trask, as well as we talk about the quarterback competition. So I'm your host, Matt Matera. Joined with me is my fellow colleague at pewterreport.com that was also at the Bucs facility there with me today. He runs the place of Pewter Report. It's SR Scott Reynolds. Scott, good to be back on the show with you. How is everything?
Doing great, Matt. It's always fun to watch some football, even though it's just OTAs. It's still better than not seeing football. And they had helmets on, which is cool, right? It's not phase one in terms of the workouts. These guys are actually throwing the football and they're competing. And we saw Baker Mayfield continue to make some good throws today. Do not get caught up in that one misfire throw.
Thank you. I'm glad you brought it up because there was another video that came out today of Baker missing a throw. There was a video of Kyle Trask missing a throw.
Yeah.
Guys, that is one throw out of over 100 that they make on the
selective editing at its worst.
It's very selective editing. Yeah. Don't buy into it. Was that throw that they messed up? Was it bad? Yeah, but it's one of a billion that they're going to throw. I'd rather them mess it up on air than when the defense is there and it ends up being an interception. Don't buy into it. It's just BS. It's fun to joke about. I absolutely get it. If it was another fan base, I'd be pointing and laughing too.
Matt, we saw Tom Brady miss some throws too. Tom Brady was not 100% in practice. He wasn't, right? There were some misfired throws from Tom Brady. So it's just selective editing at its worst. Don't read into it. Listen, neither one of these guys is Tom Brady. No one is. But Baker Mayfield, Kyle Trask, certainly, playing incredible football, playing pitch and catch. This Dave Canales offense is interesting in the fact that it does get receivers open. And, we really can't get into the specifics of how they do it. I mean, they use like some bunch formations. That's probably not giving away too much. You can go back and look at any Seattle game and see that. It's a little confusing for the defense to have to pick and choose which receiver to cover, whether it's man, whether it's zone, etc. That's part of it. But I'm been encouraged by what I've seen from this offense so far. It's not to say that the Bucs defense is playing bad or anything. It's just that Matt, this offense is interesting. It's certainly different than Bruce Arians' offense in the fact that it's horizontal based and with the rollouts, the bootlegs, the waggles, stretching defenses from side to side rather than vertically. And so it's a completely new offense. And by all accounts, it's one that is moving the chains. And we saw quite a few touchdowns today as well.
Yes, what I like right now is that we are seeing the building blocks of what this offense can look like. I'm not putting a ton of stock into OTAs right now. I mean, you don't see Levante David or Devin White out there on defense. Same with, some of the other starters, Shaq Barrett, Carlton Davis. So I'm not going to sit here on May 30th, one day after my mom's birthday. Happy birthday, Mom.
Happy birthday, Mom.
Belated birthday yesterday. But I'm not going to sit here on May 30th and say, this offense is rip-roaring, ready to go. Look what they've done. Because, you'd be crazy to do that.
Yes.
With that said, what you were just talking about, Scott, the elements are there to build a credible, functional offense. The rollouts, moving the ball, getting receivers out in space where it doesn't have to be 15 yards down the field, just those little 5-yard routes or some button hooks and things like that, curls, where they're getting the ball and then they're able to break tackles. But more than that, I think what best pixelated it or captured it was, I believe it was Baker Mayfield threw a touchdown to Raheem Jarrett. And, there was probably miscommunication on defense. We've heard that before with the Bucs defense. But you know what? That's exactly what this offense is going to look like. A little dink and dunk here and there, yards after the catch. And then when they make a mistake, the defense I'm talking about, that's when you pounce. You take advantage of their mistakes. You hit the guy that's wide open. So, again, long way to go. But there's certain little things about this offense, more than anything else, just motion, people moving, and
Yes.
you gotta have your head on a swivel, which is great for an offense. For a defense, you don't like it as much. So certainly things to like about this offense as we watch them in OTAs.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that stands out to me, Matt, is how quickly the ball gets out of the quarterback's hands. And really on the plays where it may take a little while for those routes to develop, those are like the bootlegs, right? Those are the rollouts. They get the quarterback on the move outside the pocket, and it buys time for the offensive line because the quarterback is a
Yes.
moving target. It's not like the quarterback is there and the offensive line has to build a fort around him and and buttress the quarterback from pressure. This is just different, and it really causes a little bit of havoc with pass rush lanes, right? When all of a sudden it's like you want to go up the field, and all of a sudden the pocket moves one way and the quarterback is
Yes.
moving. Then all of a sudden, guess what you have to do? You can't go up the field, Matt. You've got to go laterally, right?
Mhm.
You've got to follow that pass rush lane, and every step you're taking sideways as a pass rusher, you're not getting upfield. And that's just one more half a second, split second for the quarterback to throw the ball and for those receivers to get open. So it's exciting to watch a new offense, and we'll see how successful or unsuccessful it's going to be. I'm sure there's going to be some growing pains. I'm sure there's going to be some trials and
Yes.
tribulations in year one. This is not going to be an offense that comes all together with a brand new quarterback and a brand new system and all these new pieces and lights the NFL on
Yeah,
fire.
I don't think the Bucs are going to rival the Chiefs for most
Right.
points per game in a season, and I do think you've kind of already seen again so early, but a little bit of the growing pains of pass protection. If the Bucs send a house, or they blitz the safety a couple of times in today's practice, and
Yeah.
it would have been a sack. I'm putting that in quotations because you can't
Yeah.
hit anybody. But you saw the Bucs defense take advantage of that a little bit, and that will be worked out by middle of June, in the summer, July and
Yeah.
August, by the time the season gets going. So sure, there are still little growing pains here and there, but also like Nick Leverett was playing center today. Ryan Jensen's going to be the starting center when the season gets going. You didn't even have Mike Evans
Right.
or Russell Gage out there, and things of that nature. So don't sweat it too much. Anything good isn't too good, and anything bad isn't that bad. I think is
Right.
the best way to describe all of this.
Yeah, exactly. Happy work anniversary, Matt, from Sadie. So
Thank you, Sadie.
congrats, Matt. You've been with us now since what, 1995? Boy,
Yeah,
that's
something
me.
like
I'm
that.
I'm I'm older than you, but it seems like you've been with us forever. So
Yeah, it's
happy
been a
work
long
anniversary.
time.
Yeah,
Appreciate it. Yeah, I don't even know when I count like how long, because I started from intern and
right.
now I'm here. So like I don't even know when the official starting date is, but it's been a great time. I'll tell you that. So appreciate you, Sadie, and yeah, thanks to all the fans.
Yeah. Just put today's Bucks OTA Insider. Matt and I collaborated on that. Out there watching practice. JC Allen also out there today from Pewter Report. And that is in the chat now. You can also check that out on pewterreport.com. One of the interesting things, we had the picture of Baker Mayfield on there, and Mayfield certainly had some nice throws. I think all the quarterbacks kind of start off a little lukewarm and then really towards the end of practice kind of heated up. But one of the more noticeable things from today's practice, and we've already had a couple comments here that Baker Mayfield looks a little pudgy. Well, it's kind of Kyle Trask looks lean. I think
Yeah.
by comparison, Kyle Trask was 240 pounds coming out of Florida at the combine, at the weigh-in. And he dropped about 15 pounds, was down to about 225. Let's say 10 to 15. So maybe 230, 225 when he got to Tampa. And over the last 2 years, kind of leaned out. Now he's dropped an additional 5 to 10 pounds. And it's not exactly like the Skeletor Tom Brady that showed up last year, right?
Damn, that's mean but true.
Well, yeah,
Not even mean, but
yeah, and I'm not saying it in a mean way. It's just like Tom Brady looked very what's the opposite of swollen? Shrunken, really, right? I mean, he looked like a guy that was going through the ringer,
he looked
you
like
know.
the villain in the first Captain America movie when he has the red face. I don't remember his name.
Red Skull.
Yeah,
Red
Red. I
Skull.
guess
Yeah.
his name was Red Skull. Yeah, he
Yeah.
kind of looked
Yeah.
like
So
that.
this is like Brady's skull, if you
Yeah,
will.
yeah.
But Yeah, but Kyle Trask looks very, very thin, but he looks very fit as well. And so the reason for his decision to slim down was to get healthier, and you can see him there. He looks very fit.
Yeah.
Baker, see, that's a better picture of Baker Mayfield. He looked a little pudgy, right, in the earlier one.
Yeah.
You know,
We just talk about videos getting doctored, photos,
Yeah.
and can get doctored, but they can also. It's all about the angles. As
It
people
is.
say. It's all about the angles.
Yeah. So there's Baker looking a little bit more fit. Same practice, but you know, Baker's 6'1", about 210, 215, just a squattier kind of guy. Trask, even though this is the picture of them doing like the pre-practice calisthenics, it looks like they're the same height. Baker is 6'1", Trask is 6'5", but Kyle Trask is really thinned out, and the reason for that is he wants to be more mobile. He wants to be able to do these bootlegs and waggles and rollouts just as easily as John Wolford, the third string quarterback, and also Baker Mayfield. And you know, Kyle looks mobile. He does. He looks like he can execute these things certainly faster than Tom Brady. Not that I'm picking on Brady today. Don't think I am, folks. But Tom would tell you he's not exactly fleet of foot, so I'm not dogging Tom. But Kyle Trask does look more slender, more svelte, and a little bit more mobile, man.
Yeah, he does. Kyle Trask actually spoke about that today, so let's get to the video.
Really good. Probably definitely leaned out, lost a couple pounds.
How many?
Probably around 5 to 10 pounds, depending on what day it is of the week. Just really trying to really dial in my eating habits and things like that. And obviously we're going to be moving around a lot more, so trying to get as light on my feet as I could. So,
do you like that as a quarterback?
I just think it's really exciting for us to get the movements in the backfield going and the boots away. And you see all the success that the system has had, you know, with the heavy play action and taking shots. And, you know, it gives you a lot of protection if you're able to do the keepers off the play action. So that's just really exciting for a quarterback. Anytime you can turn on film and see a play action where you got nobody within 10 yards
Huge space,
so,
right?
Yeah. You know,
So it's creating some vision for you at times.
Yeah. And it all ties in together. And I think, you know, they've been doing this for, you know, decades out of the system that they're coming from. So they know exactly how to do it. So we're all just really bought in and, you know, excited to see where this goes.
Yeah, you heard Kyle Trask there say that, yes, he's getting in better shape for his own personal health. But yeah, he acknowledged that he's going to be moving around a lot more with this offense with Dave Canales. So he knows what he's getting into. And I think because Kyle Trask doesn't have crazy rushing stats from Florida, that he can't move around at all. Like, he's way more mobile than Tom Brady. I guess I'm speaking bad about Tom Brady here as well. But like,
this is just the Trash Tom show today. Just the TT Trash Tom show. That's really what it's become today. Manuel taking exception of that. Don't talk bad about Tom Brady. Neither one of you can do what Tom Brady has done, and that's a fact, Manuel.
Yeah,
I can't even throw a spiral, man. I'm serious. It looks bad.
Well, I bet I could throw it lefty better than Tom Brady.
Maybe, yeah.
Actually, I don't know, but I am lefty, so I do have that advantage.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see Tom Brady in 23 years write as many stories as I have.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
Let's see that. Okay. So, but yes, listen, we're not taking Tom to task here.
We're just having fun.
Yeah. Oh, Al Bundy. Golly, shouldn't make fun of him though. He was depressed from the divorce. Yeah, he was. Sure, I've gone through a divorce. It's not fun. I mean, it's not. At the same time, though,
if I had his money, I think I'd be okay with people mocking me for mine.
As Joel says, of course he was. Killed his spirit. Was written all over his face, yet he still managed to win a division title at 45, the GOAT. That's right. It's not how it starts, folks. It's how it ends, right? And if you missed today's start of the show, well, you're going to have to tune in earlier. We have 124, I think, people right now in the chat, which is good for a Tuesday in May. As there's not a whole bunch of Bucs news outside of OTAs, but if you missed our cool little graphic, Kyle Thiel, who is the what we call him, the fifth Beatle, he is is our webmaster and kind of runs the website for us here at pewterreport.com. He of Visual Realm. Probably because you're thinking of your football finger injury. That's true. Yes, this is my football finger injury.
Once I saw that comment, I had to put it up.
This is the normal finger. That's the one that is jacked up. I blocked a punt Shawnee Mission South Raiders beat the Shawnee Mission West Vikings, and yours truly blocked a punt. One of my 3 good plays in high school football. I blocked a punt, I had 1 sack, and I recovered a fumble. And I blocked a punt. It was not to get biblical, but like you've heard of Moses parting the Red Sea. For whatever reason, I'm defensive tackle, line up in the A gap. The long snapper went that way. The guard went that way. I had a free shot straight on, and I caught the tip of the football with my fingers and basically bent these 2 sideways, dislocated them. Really hurt bad.
I heard they call you Punt Team Moses. That's what they call you.
That's a new one. Hadn't heard of that. But if you, like I said, if you've missed the earlier start to the show, we've got such a cool little graphic that is now part of the Pewter Report podcast, and it goes something like this. That's pretty cool, folks. That's pretty cool. That's just 12 seconds of cool right there. And speaking of 12 seconds, in about 2 minutes, we're going to have about 2 minutes and 12 seconds of a little thing that we do on Mondays, but we didn't want to gyp you guys because of the fact that Monday was a holiday and we didn't work yesterday. We had stories on pewterreport.com, but we didn't do the podcast because of Memorial Day. A very fantastic holiday honoring the fallen who have sacrificed everything for this great country. And so we didn't have what we do at 4:20 on Mondays yesterday because there was no podcast. So we're going to do it today. It's a little thing we call
Roll Call, baby. Where are you at, Pewter people? We have awesome fans, not just in Tampa, not just in the United States. We got awesome fans all over, and we love interacting with all the Pewter people. So one way we do that, typically on a Monday show, but this week on a Tuesday, we're going to start talking about another Bucs topic or continue this Baker and Kyle Trask conversation. And while we're chatting about your favorite football team, if you could start putting in the comments where you were watching from, like Donnie just did with Topeka,
there you
Kansas.
go, Topeka, Kansas.
Start letting us know where you were watching the show from. We will put it on the screen, as Ren says, on my couch, and we will display to all the Pewter people where everybody is watching from.
Yeah, it's always fun. Speaking of Kansas, my daughter Ellie just returned from Kansas State. Had a chance to talk to, I don't want to say legend, but Kansas State alum, Cade Warner today, which was fun. He was excited. I was from Kansas State also, so we had to talk a little Wildcat football. It was always good to catch up there. But I'm having a beer today in my Kansas. It's not that bad State Cup, so it's got the state outline of Kansas with Kansas. It's not that bad, and it's not. But I'll tell you what else is not bad. Let's just stick to the Buccaneers, folks. The fact that this offensive line is pretty big. I wrote about this in our previous OTA report, our OTA Insider, just so you can see. That's Robert Hainsey, the gentleman to the left there on your screen. Center last year for the Buccaneers during the regular season. Today he lined up at left guard, getting some looks there with the second string. Your starters, of course, from left to right. You've got Tristan Wirfs, 6'5". Wow, Scott City, Kansas. There you go. We got the Kansas crowd in here. Where's Chris Oxentine from Overland Park? Have we seen him yet?
He said hello before.
Okay. Well, Kansas well represented so far. I'm loving it. Great day to talk to Cade Warner. But that's Robert Hainsey. He looks a little bit bigger this year than he did last year. He's hit the weight room. But, folks, that's Matt Filer next to him. 6'6", 330 pound. You can kind of see the difference in the calves. Love the peach vibe. Celsius today, Charles. That's awesome. But Matt Fowler is a big dude. You can see the calves, the thighs, the arms, the chest. This is a massive guy, like 6'6", 330 pounds. I'm trying to think. Thank you for that comment, Will the Brewer. We're drinking beer today. It's a Tuesday. There we go, Chris. Yeah. Lowe's on 135th Street in Olathe, Kansas. I know exactly where you are. My buddy Chris lives around the corner from there. But so Matt Filer is probably the biggest guard the Bucs have had since Carl Nix. Remember that name, you old Buccaneer fans? 6'5", 343-pound guard that came from the Saints, where he was an All-Pro and a Pro Bowl. A huge offseason addition for Mark Dominic and Greg Schiano. Only problem is, if you remember, he caught MRSA in that season where Mercer infected one Buccaneer place and took out the kicker and a couple of the players. Jonathan Banks had MRSA for a minute, but with Carl Nicks, it was very serious. His MRSA was a staph infection or antibiotic resistant. It was a staph infection that was antibiotic resistant. Ended up costing him part of his toe and ended his career at age 28, which is a shame because he only played in 9 games over 2 seasons for the Buccaneers and just ended his career. But I mean, this was probably going to be a multi-year Pro Bowler. He was a 2-time Pro Bowler with the Saints before he came to the Buccaneers, had an illustrious career ahead of him, and it all came crashing down. So Matt Fowler, not as big at 6'6", 330, but still a big man. You put him next to Tristan Wirfs, and now, Matt, you have not just kind of like that gap duo, straight ahead man blocking scheme. Now you have mid zone, wide zone, stretch run plays at a zone, and it's basically a moving wall. And you get Wirfs and Filer next to each other at 6'5", 345 and 6'6", 330. That left side is now it's just a moving wall. And then you throw in Jensen, who wasn't there today. Nick Leverett was actually taking snaps as the starting center, just mixing it up, trying to get him some experience too and some looks with Hainsey going to left guard as the backup. And Cody Mock at 6'5", 305, very agile, active guy that moves well laterally. And then Luke Edeke at right tackle. This is a big wall that just moves people. And it's going to be really interesting to see this run game kind of come to life. It can't get any worse, Matt. It ranked 32nd in the league last year.
Exactly. They can only go up from here, which is good news for Dave Canales because it's only going to help his resume. You're like, hey, I came in, I took this run game. It was 32nd in the league. It was terrible, and I got it to this. But yeah, it is exciting with this new zone blocking scheme, especially with the left side that you talk about, just 2 gargantuan human beings that will be blocking for Rachaad White. He's going to have, and by the way, Rachaad White, he'll be on the show tomorrow. But Rashaad's going to have carte blanche because with this zone blocking style, it's really up to the running back. You know, you would think like in a traditional defense, like, okay, Tristan's on the left side, the defensive end, he's going to block him. That's not necessarily the case because if you're zone blocking to the left, if that defensive end, they decide to blitz or whatever, and he decides to go inside of the face of Tristan Wirfs isn't blocking him anymore. That's Matt Filer's guy.
That's right.
Then Tristan goes to either the second level or, maybe a corners on the end or whatever it is. So I like the idea that Tristan can get out in space. If teams want to blitz, the Bucs will be ready for it. I think it's better a little bit communications-wise, where we've seen the Bucs struggle, especially, Scott, in those short yardage situations, and whether that was on Byron Leftwich or just the Bucs' failure to execute. I think with the zone blocking scheme, it can help that out. Tristan Wirfs can seal off the edge, and Rachaad can cut it to the outside for a big gain. Tristan can do his thing, Filer does his thing, and Rachaad White goes in between the tackles or in between the guard and the center, whatever it is. I think the zone blocking offense, just as an entire unit, it is really going to help this team take advantage of the athleticism that this offensive line has. We know Tristan Wirfs has it. Ryan Jensen, we'll see what's up with the knee. But a lot of these guys, like Cody Mock, is great, or Malk, I should say, is great at getting to the second level. Use that to your advantage, and I think Dave Canales will.
Yeah, and the thing about Rachaad White is he's slippery, and I think that's a term that Todd Bowles used to describe him last year as a rookie. And so you give him that little crease, right? Whether it's, we're talking a moving zone run scheme here, and whether he finds that crease in between Filer and Wirfs or Filer and Jensen, he's going to be able to take advantage of that and get slippery, get lean. And even though he's a bigger back, he's kind of tall and linear, and he's got some strength now, but he certainly has the wiggle to kind of get in between those linemen, find the holes in the zone, and you get the defense flowing one way, and then you have a cutback lane. And of course, that's something Chase Edmonds, who we have not seen yet, but that's something he's excelled in Denver, which has got a similar based run scheme. And even Miami last year, right, with their new coach coming in, Mike McDaniel, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, Mike McDaniel. So no Chase Edmonds today. Like last Tuesday, both he and Sean Tucker were out. We tried to find out what happened with Russell Gage. Gage was also a no-show. he got hurt. Baker Mayfield spilled the beans,
He did.
and which we appreciate in the media because we didn't know if Gage was just vacationing or skipping OTAs, but in fact he got hurt. So with we tried to do our due diligence, and Todd Bowles, ever the stickler for the rules, said, we're not talking about injuries during OTAs. So
now let me ask you this though, Scott, because we saw other people that were injured that were like still out there, and granted it was some of the younger guys.
Yeah.
Russell Gage we didn't see out there at all,
right,
despite the fact that he wasn't practicing. Yeah. Is there anything that we should look into with that, or is it more just, hey, well, he's not practicing, he doesn't have to be here. Levante David's not here either.
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure, and this is just pure speculation, but if you have an upper extremity injury, shoulder, elbow, wrist, whatever, you can stand and watch practice and learn from being out there. So this tells me it might be an ankle injury, right? Maybe twisted a knee, maybe a hamstring, to where they want him not standing, they want him off his feet, and and then he'll have to watch practice film rather than being out there live and seeing what happens. So that's the only thing I can glean just from my years of experience. When players are injured and they're not out there at practice, typically it's because they don't want them standing on a sprained ankle, a twisted knee, hamstring, calf injury, whatever. So,
because if there was any time to be like observing practice and
it'd be now,
getting the information, it's right now with the new offense. New offensive coordinator, new quarterback, and everything else in between. But yeah, this is listen, again, it's so early. Like if he's fine by the summer, then great, and we won't even think twice about this. But tough COVID for Russell Gage, man. I mean, was looking great we talked about it before, but looking great in training camp. Then he got injured, and that kind of derailed the season last year. Honestly, it just sucks to see the fact that he could be hurt again, especially with Dave Canales now in town.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, boy, Dave Canales is just so impressive because you can tell this guy has got quarterback coaching roots. Even though he played wide receiver at Azusa Pacific, he spent a lot of time coaching quarterbacks and receivers up there in Seattle. But when they're doing the individual period, where it's, strictly just quarterbacks, sectioned off with Thad Lewis, and the running backs sectioned off with Skip Pete, John Van Dam, not Claude Van Dam, Jean Van Dam. It's John, but we're going to call him Jean, right? I think that just sounds better. Jean Van Dam.
Yeah.
So Jean Van Dam with the tight ends. You've got Gilly and Goody with the offensive line. And Dave Canales is nowhere to be found with the offensive line. He doesn't care. He just doesn't. He trusts Brad Idzik with the wide receivers. Good. Don't care. Tight ends, Jean Van Dam. You got that. Skip Pete. You're not going to get these guys to fumble the ball. We know that. So I'm going to stick with the quarterbacks. But the thing is he basically runs all the quarterback drills. Thad Lewis is kind of a bystander. And maybe this will change during training camp. This is the fourth OTA practice, Matt. So we don't want to get ahead of ourselves here. But it just seems to me like Dave Canales is so hands-on with the quarterbacks. And if anything, what he does kind of turn the individual practice period over to Thad Lewis to run if he wants to take a peek at what the offensive line's doing, or the tight ends, or the running backs, or the receivers. Thad will know what to do because he's been watching it now for a couple weeks with Canales.
I do like it. It feels like with Canales and Thad Lewis, it's a little bit of the yin and the yang type of situation. Like Dave Canales is very loud and energetic, and he's all over the place. And as you said, he's running the other drills. And Thad Lewis, just from like talking to him, some of his press conferences, it doesn't make Thad Lewis any less of a coach or a better teacher of the game. But Thad Lewis definitely feels a lot more calm, cool, collected, methodical about the whole thing. Hold on, wait, let's think this out. It's almost to a degree sort of like Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask, where Baker's like the firecracker, chip on his shoulder, in your face. And Kyle Trask, even talking to him today, a lot more relaxed, chilled out, almost a little too chill for my own personal liking. A little bit of that, a little bit of that aw shucks mentality, like I lost some weight and now I'm gonna run more. And it's like, all right, good for you, Kyle. But
I'm sitting there listening to Kyle Trask talk, and I like Kyle, great guy. He's got kind of like a little sneaky humor, right? Like he kind of, He kind of creeps up on you with the humor a little bit. He didn't do the swagger one-liners like Baker does, but he's got his own little sneaky humor there. But I'm sitting there watching him, and I'm thinking, practice just ended, right? And so you're probably filling up with the Gatorade or just water rehydrating. But man, you could use a Celsius,
Yes,
Kyle. You just could, especially that Oasis Vibe, which is the newest flavor of a Celsius. It's hard to keep track, folks, because they keep cranking out these new flavors left and right. But the Oasis Vibe, available only at Target right now, is Sprickly. That's just a new word. Sprickly. Sprickly means sparkling, prickly pear, lime. And it's very sprickly. It's also very good. And the lemon lime, which you see right next to it, is awesome. Those are two of my afternoon flavors because they're not terribly sweet. The orange, that's my go-to right there in the mornings. I had an orange this morning. It's fantastic over the holiday weekend. Actually had a fantasy vibe, which is a great change of pace. It's even sweeter than the orange. It's the marshmallow mandarin orange. It's a great flavor. And you can't go wrong with the vibes, Matt. Tropical vibe, Arctic vibe, and peach vibe. And where can you get Celsius? Well, it's real easy. Do what we've done before. Go to Celsius.com, click on the store locator, find the nearest health and fitness store, convenience store, grocery store, or what's the one I'm thinking of? Bodega. Yeah, that's right. Grab a Celsius today, folks. It's got all the energy you need, and you're not going to have the sugar crash because there's no sugar. And you can also get them on Instacart and Amazon as well. Do the subscribe and save with Amazon. Ship them right to your door, save a bunch of money. Celsius, the official energy drink of Pewter Report. And I'm going to try to get Kyle Trask a Celsius endorsement deal. I think
you did just mention that he's got a little bit of sneaky humor here. The other video we have of Kyle Trask, he gets a couple of laughs out of it. He's talking about just kind of like learning the new offense and everything. So we're going to play video part 2 of Kyle Trask.
Nice to kind of get back to some of that element rather than just being a pocket passer.
Yeah, I would say our old scheme in the last couple of years definitely more geared towards throwing from the pocket. This new scheme allows you to get outside the pocket, use your legs more. That's really exciting for me as a quarterback. Anytime you get on the edge, that's really exciting. Anytime you can try to throw one on the run or get outside the pocket and make a play, run for a first down or something like that. Just how creative the offense is. I think everybody's really bought into the scheme, and I'm just really looking forward to see how it looks versus a defense. You see what they did in Seattle with Geno and the weapons they had, and I think that with our weapons we can, we're due for some really explosive plays. I guess that argument is, so subjective, depending on who you ask. I like to be labeled a mobile quarterback. That's pretty cool. But I like to think that I can, am able to get out on the edge and, get first downs if I need to.
Yeah, so he got a couple of laughs at the end there. The part that he was talking about that is kind of up to everyone's discretion is whether or not he's a pocket passer or a mobile quarterback. Is he a dual threat quarterback? Which Antoine Winfield Jr. said that he's a dual threat quarterback. And, we joked at that with Tom Brady last year. And certainly Trask is
he's way more mobile than Brady. Let's just continue to crap all over Tom Brady today. I mean, Tom Brady's not nearly as fast as Kyle Trask. Okay, there you go.
And Kyle Trask probably won't have an undefeated season either, just like Tom Brady.
Oh boy. Listen, we appreciate y'all tuning in on Tuesday for this OTA talk. And one of the guys that was out there, probably the number one player out there today, actually he's the number one player every day. That's Rachaad White. He's number one. It's not Jalen Darden, folks. Nope. Slip and slide is gone. Now you've got a robust Rachaad White. I'm going to say Rachaad White like that. I just think that sounds cooler, almost like Yaya Diaby. So we're going to have a special guest tomorrow night, folks. We kind of gave it away right there, but it's Rachaad White of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 7:00 p.m. Eastern time. We're already on Wednesday, just about. It's Tuesday. It's really Wednesday Junior. It's Tuesday, right? So tomorrow's Wednesday, and we've got our primetime show, which is 7 p.m. So make sure that you're going to be there. Rachaad White's going to be there. So check out Rachaad and bring your questions. We'll ask him some of those questions live. And you and JC did a great job with Cody Mauch last Thursday.
Thank you.
that was a fun show to watch. Now we've got Rashad White lined up for tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So be there or be square.
Yeah, love having players on the show. It does everybody good. You know, people love the players. It's really the closest. You know, there's meet and greets and things like that.
Yeah.
But for like fans of the Bucs, Pewter people, it's really one of the closest ways that you're able to like interact with the players.
Right.
If you want to ask a question or anything like that, of course, super chats. We will have you cut the line. But yeah, Rashad was on the show last year. Excited to have him back on, and we'll see. We'll see.
We have a string of Russell Gage comments here, and so we're going to kind of address these right here. So Gage just has not found that foothold yet in Tampa. Trey Palmer made a couple of really good catches today. He had a really nice skinny post catch and run from a beautiful pass by Baker Mayfield, and then also had a low kind of almost diving touchdown from John Wolford, the third string quarterback, who actually had back-to-back touchdowns, threw that one to Trey Palmer. And then at the end of practice, Kalen Geiger goes up over two guys. Derek Pitts is one of them.
Derek Pitts was
not sure who the other guy was. He's a brand new defensive back that's probably not going to make the team. But Kalen Geiger looked pretty good today. Trey Palmer is looking good.
Yes, I don't want to get too ahead with Trey Palmer, though, because he has looked good. He looks smooth. Yep. He's very quick. But I do remember Jalen Darden balling out during this time of the year.
Kenny Bell before him.
Got all excited, and then, the pads came on, training camp went on, and wasn't exactly the same guy. So I'm personally just going to pump the brakes a little bit with Trey Palmer. I like what I've seen. He's trending in the right direction. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to stop being negative.
Okay, that's fine. No negativity here allowed in the offseason. That only happens after Bucs losses. During the season.
We already bashed Tom Brady so much. If we just bash everybody, then then who are we really?
Exactly. Okay, so we talked a little bit about the offense in terms of making plays. Tight ends were really kind of nondescript today. I think the ball just kind of found its way to the receivers today. Cade Warner made some nice catches. Raheem Jarrett had a touchdown. Kalen Geiger had one. Chris Godwin, certainly out there, but didn't really have a day today. Not that he needs to. I mean, he's Chris Godwin, right? Yeah. And the fact that he's out there looking fast looks really good. That's important. Okay, Chris, here we go. Anything on Silas? How are we saying his name, Matt? Have we kind of come to the conclusion there? Is it Zancy?
Yeah, see, I am looking at it as Zancy. Just the B is silent.
Okay, so Silas Zancy, that's the Virginia Tech kid. And he actually was the second string left tackle today. And the Bucs are trying him at left tackle. They hope he can be the swing tackle. I think there's a little bit of war going on between the Bucs front office, the scouts. They like Brandon Walton at tackle, and Harold Goodwin and Joe Gilbert like him at guard. So today, Brandon Walton was playing guard. He was the second string right guard, and Silas Zancy was the second string left tackle. So far, so good. Again, with offensive line, Matt, we got to make this disclaimer. There's no pads, right? It's all patty cake.
Underwear Olympics.
It's underwear Olympics out there. So it's hike and then touch, like tag you're it, and that's really it. So one other play, since we're kind of talking about the trenches, that I thought was interesting was Kalijah Kancey. He's running second string right now. No surprise. Right. Some fans might have been surprised that Mike Green was running with the first string. Again, this is the offseason. This is where you experiment. We had Nick Leverett in there at center, Robert Hainsey at left guard. Just trying new people at new places. But so Kalijah Kancey comes in the second string with Greg Gaines, who's the nose tackle in the situation, and you've got Kalijah Kancey. And in one of these rollout plays, and we've seen Baker Mayfield, when he rolls out, if there's nobody there, he didn't like wait, hang on, right? Because the sideline's coming. As you're rolling, you're getting close to the sideline. He just looks to take it upfield, and he actually scored a rushing touchdown on kind of a designed rollout in the red zone today, which was impressive. But this was a play where Baker was looking, and then decided to take it upfield and run. And Kalijah Cansey flashed all the way from the middle of the field. Remember, 53 yards. So we're talking at least 25 yards, just lateral sprint. And he cut off Baker Mayfield and held him to maybe a 1 or 2 yard gain. But it's one thing for a linebacker or a safety to get out there on the flank, on the edge, and get close to the sidelines and prevent a quarterback from hitting the sidelines and getting maybe a first down. This was a defensive tackle, Matt. This was Kalijah Cansey.
Yeah, talked about the speed. That's a big reason why the Bucs drafted him, and especially going sideline to sideline as well, which, again, you don't always think about that as much for the defensive tackle. But Kalijah Cansey's already stood out a little bit more than, say, Logan Hall.
Yeah.
Dare I utter those words? So great to see from Kalijah Cansey, all hustle all the time. That's kind of what he talked about and bringing here. And it was great that Vita Vea was there too. And obviously they weren't playing together at the moment, but they will at some point. I just think just having Vita, or really anyone that gets drafted, the veteran or big name player at the same position, I do think it's very important for those guys to be there and to take whatever player under their wing, in this case, Vita Vea and Kalijah Cansey. And obviously they play a little bit of a different spot, although also defensive tackles. I thought that was a good sign today. Jamel Dean being there too. Todd Bowles has been very pleased with the overall turnout in general.
It's been really
all
good.
Off season. And it just got a little bit better today.
Yeah. And the thing too is, and we probably should state this since we're talking a little bit of defense now. And Bucket, with you, girl. Don't know when the Creamsicles are coming. The Bucs have not made that announcement yet, nor have they made the announcement on the Bucs Ring of Honor game and which person, because it could be a coach, it could be an owner. There's Malcolm Blazer's in the Bucs Ring of Honor. Monty Kiffin's in there as a defensive coordinator.
Is that a nod to Tom Brady because he's kind of an owner of the Raiders now?
It could be. It could be Tom Brady's year.
We're back on Brady. We're back on this side.
Tom Brady does deserve to be in the Bucs Ring of Honor, even though we've taken shots at Tom today and not by design. So I'm not sure when the Creamsicles are coming. My guess is that, what do they have? They've got a couple of, I think the Bears game, that season opener is too early. I want to say it's probably going to be against the NFC South teams. The Lions game, that kind of feels right to me. Lions and Bucs. Matter of fact, the last time the Buccaneers donned the Creamsicle Buccaneer Bruce uniforms on the regular was in 1996, and they played the Bears. That was the season finale there. But that's the home opener. That's the week 2 game. I think it's too early. I think they're going to wait till the Lions game to do it, or the Falcons game. Maybe if you throw back Falcons, throw back Bucs.
I've cast my vote as well for the game against the Titans, but you get the Creamsicle against the Houston Oilers. I think that would be really cool. I'm also curious, badass. Like the Bucs don't have to do a Ring of Honor member like every single season. I mean, there are people that are definitely candidates. It's just like I'm not even speaking specifically about the Bucs, but I do feel like teams at times feel obligated. It's like we have to put someone in the Ring of Honor, or like we have to do something like that. Let's also remember Rondé Barber is going to the Hall of Fame this year, so there could be a Rondé, because they did it with John Lynch a couple of years ago, even when he was.
Well, Rondé's already in there. Rondé was in 2 years ago.
Right. But I'm saying like John Lynch was in the Ring of Honor, and then they brought him back for like his Hall of Fame, like when he made it to the NFL Hall of Fame, and John Lynch came back and said a couple words. So yes, I know. Yeah, Rondé obviously is already in the Ring of Honor, but they could do like a Hall of Fame thing with him as well for making the NFL.
It very well could be the case. So the other thing is on the defensive side, it wasn't just Devin White and Levante David that were missing today in terms of starting linebackers, but also KJ Britt, who was the number 3 linebacker, was missing. So that left the team with 4 inside linebackers. We saw Servassier Dennis in the starting lineup. No surprise. We've been high on him since the day he was drafted. And then you had Ulysses Gilbert, who was a practice squad guy and a special teamer last year, manning the other linebacker spot. And then in the second string, you had Jeremy Banks, the undrafted free agent from Tennessee, who's created a bit of a buzz, along with J.J. Russell. So those 4 linebackers today got a ton of reps, because typically, you go 3 deep in practice. You have first string, second string, third string. Those guys got recycled a bunch of reps and really accelerates their learning curve. Gilbert and Russell were here last year on the practice squad. And of course, Banks and Dennis are new. But Matt, the longer the veterans stay away, almost like Gage and Evans being out, it just helps all the young receivers accelerate their learning curve and get the needed reps so that they can hit training camp running.
100%. I think this is the perfect time of the year where if you, especially someone like Servassier Dennis, get him as many reps as possible. You never know when he's going to be needed. Maybe the Bucs made the right move by just not filling out their safety room after Antoine Winfield Jr. and Ryan Neal, because they have a flurry of undrafted free agent safeties. Nolan Turner included. He's going to his second year, but also was an undrafted free agent. I think OTAs, even before mandatory minicamp, it's the perfect time to just get all these young Bucs, literally and figuratively, just playing time in what is, let's be realistic, a complex defense. At least on defense. Offensively, it was complex. Now it's a little more simplified with Dave Canales in the mix. But this is awesome. I mean, the wide receivers, the more Russell Gage is injured, I saw someone in the chat before saying Trey Palmer is going to be wide receiver 3. Yeah. I don't know if I'd go that far, but you got a bunch of wide receivers like Kalen Geiger making that play today. This dude's fighting to make this team, and it's very viable that some of these guys could, getting wide receiver 5, 6, Cade Warner, like you talked about. So all of them in the mix is great. J.J. Russell was in that competition last year, and he didn't make the team. He made the practice squad, but he's probably pissed. Like, man, I came that close. Now I got to start all over again with another rookie in place. But J.J. Russell, keep him on the practice squad, that type of thing. I just talked about Servassier Dennis.
Yep.
And then, the safeties as well. I'm so excited about Merriweather from
Kayvon Merriweather.
Iowa. Yeah.
Chris Isian.
Isian from, I don't know if it's Isian or Isian. I thought it was Isian.
I'm not sure.
I could be wrong. We'll just call him C-Eyes. I guess that wouldn't help either, because if he still is, it'd be C-Is.
Right.
But anyway, the Rutgers safety, and then Kedrick Whitehead as well. Not Jordan Whitehead.
Yep.
Another Whitehead that's playing safety. So, a lot of youth, an influx of youth on this team. That's partially what they did this year, partially because they had to. Raheem Jarrett as well, wide receiver. Shout out Sal 319 for that one too. So, it's a great time of the year for all that to go on. Who was it? Antoine Winfield Jr. we spoke to today as well, and he kind of mentioned that Chris Isian, CI, reminds him of himself. I thought that was really cool, and It's
built
cool
about the same too, 5'10", but 200 pounds. I mean, kind of a short, squatty, thick, physical player. And Todd Bowles loves the physicality that both Merriweather and Isian brings. These are some Bucs to keep your eye on in training camp, because I'm not sure Nolan Turner makes the squad. So
I'm not. I don't like. Sorry, I'm not a big Nolan Turner guy. That's all.
I'm not either. Yeah, I'm not either. But speaking of young Bucs, if you have some young Bucs or old Bucs or any type of Bucs that you want to invest, the place to do it is at Immuni Financial.
At Immuni Financial, we help you live in the now.
Congratulations. We're so happy for you.
Thank you.
And even though the now may feel very different, you still need to plan for the future.
How's retirement treating you?
Oh, just fantastic.
I know I say it all the time, but you really got to come up to Colorado.
Let's do it.
All right.
Yeah.
We can help you develop that plan to keep you on track, so you can still prepare for tomorrow, today. Immuni Financial. Plan ahead, stay ahead.
That's right. I made it out to Colorado, Ashley, and I went out there, and I've got Nugget fever now. Go Nuggets in the NBA Finals. Can't wait. Got my Nuggets shirt in the mail. I'm such a bandwagoner, but why not? But listen, folks, if you want to get to Colorado or anywhere, if you want to retire, if you want to save up for vacations, if you want to save up for your college tuitions for your children, the place to do it is at Immuni Financial. They've been helping people, not just in Tampa Bay, not just in Florida, but across the country since 1980. So do what I've done. Get Immuni Financial in your corner. Let them help you plan ahead and stay ahead. Because managing your family's wealth means more to Immuni Financial than simply allocating your assets. It is legacy planning, brokerage and advisory services, retirement accounts, those college savings accounts I just mentioned, and insurance services. They've got over 40 years of experience. So let the pros help you plan ahead and stay ahead. Immuni Financial, give them a call, 1-800-868-6864. That's 1-800-686-6864. Visit him on the web at immuni.com. Tell him Pewter Report sent you.
Before we wrap up the show, like I said, we did talk to Antoine Winfield Jr. Have a couple quick videos that we'll play before we close it out.
Yeah.
When he talks about Izzy, it's a very quick video, so I'll play that first. And then, obviously, he's moving to free safety this year.
Yep.
We've heard from literally everybody. Todd Bowles, Nick Rapone, Jason Light. But we haven't heard from Antoine Winfield Jr., the guy that's making the move. So we'll get his thoughts on that, too.
Yeah, he reminds me of myself. We're kind of similar stature. He's put in the same roles that I was in, and so it's good seeing him out there. You know, he's learning. He's a smart player, but he's learning. More to free, yeah. Middle of the field.
Happy about that? Or?
Oh, I love it. I would say, it's similar to what I was doing last year. It's just I'll probably be in the middle of the field more. So I like having that freedom just to roam around and be in the middle of the field and have that presence all over. Definitely more, I would say. That's one of the goals that we've been trying to get better on, each and every year, but especially this year because we got to have more turnovers because, that ultimately leads to offense getting more opportunities with the ball and us getting better chances to win the game.
So passes?
Everything. When the ball's in the air, got to be ours this year.
Do you think for you, moving back to free safety, that could help just get more as well? Because you're in the slot, you're kind of all over the place.
Yeah, 100%, because I'm more in the middle of the field, and I'm able to, play around and cover different things a little bit differently than playing in the slot over slot receiver, so definitely.
Yeah, I'm curious how much of an impact Antoine Winfield Jr. going full-time back to free safety. How much that'll impact the Bucs getting those turnovers because they had 10 interceptions last year, 17 the year before, so a huge decrease there. And as we've highlighted a lot on this show previously, Scott, you specifically, a lot of those turnovers came in the first 3 weeks of the season and stalled the heck out after that. So, yeah, that's one of the biggest changes you'll see with personnel that's been here before. A lot of new faces in the building, but one of the old faces has a little bit of a change too.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. We talked last week about how Cade Otton suddenly, I even wrote about it on pewterreport.com, he's the elder statesman of the tight end room. He's a second-year player, and he's already asked to be a leader. And he only played last year as a rookie. So it's the youngest tight end room in the league. Not quite the youngest safety room, but with 3 years in the league, that's what you're looking at with Antoine Winfield. He's the leader in that room. There's no more Logan Ryan. So you've got Ryan Neal in there, who's another veteran. After that, it's just a bunch of young players outside of Nolan Turner, who was in the practice squad last year. So it's going to be interesting to see, if Neal and Winfield can stay healthy the entire season. If not, boy, it gets really young, really fast in the secondary. I'd rather have youth at tight end because that's more of like a nondescript position. Safety, we're talking like that's the last line of defense. You got to have guys that know what they're doing back there. Otherwise, you give up big plays, you blow coverages, things like that.
I know he's been doing a lot more media stuff lately, but Logan Ryan, keep your phone near you. Because if something happens to either one of them, I wouldn't be shocked if he gets a call anytime soon. Sal319 says, who's been in the slot now? A couple of guys. We've seen our Rutgers guy that we've been talking about, Chris Izzy, and he's been in there a little bit. The Bucs are going to rotate some guys out. Zion McCollum's been playing outside with Carlton.
D. Delaney been playing inside.
Yeah, D. Delaney's
Josh
been
Hayes,
playing inside.
Those three primarily have been the trio in there at the nickel spot, and I think each one's kind of getting different looks with different units, and we'll see how it all shakes out. So,
long way to go.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of young rooms, the running back room is also young, right? You've got second-year running back Rachaad White, who is the special guest on tomorrow night's show. We said tomorrow night because it's 7 p.m. That's right. We do Wednesday shows and Thursdays in prime time at 7 p.m. So make sure that you bring your questions and tune in tomorrow for the new number one running back, literally and figuratively. That's Bucs running back Rachaad White. Going to be live at the Pewter Report podcast. Myself and Matt Matera will be your co-hosts for tomorrow night's festivities, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Tell all your family and friends to tune in. And we also...
I was going to say, please also tell your family and friends to follow pewterreport.com, our website, and, of course, our social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram is at Pewter Report, and our YouTube channel, whether it's the podcast that you're watching. We put up various clips. We have an Antoine Winfield Jr. clip from earlier today as well. That's already up there. So our YouTube channel is Pewter Report TV.
Yeah.
Please like and subscribe. Tell your friends if you like the content. We're trying to grow this as much as we possibly can. And with your support of a like and a subscription, which is absolutely free, you'd really help us get there. So
yeah, and we're up to 10,500 subscribers now on our YouTube channel, Pewter Report TV, which is awesome. And if you didn't see our video earlier, our new Pewter Report podcast intro video, it's only 12 seconds. I'm going to play it one more time. We actually spent $10,500 on this graphic, so we're going to get the most mileage out of it we can. So here it is again, folks. That's
pretty
bad.
sweet.
I like it.
Pretty awesome. I
Yep.
like it. I like it. But that's going to do it for us on today's show. For Scott Reynolds, I'm Matt Matera saying thank you, everybody, for watching, and we will see you tomorrow for another edition of the Pewter Report podcast. Rashad White on the show tomorrow.
Rashad White. Out.
Out.